All right, back with another tier list. This tier list is going to be the teams I want to see live. And really, I'm going to do it teams I want to see live playing a home game. So which stadiums do I want to go to? I'm phrasing it a bit weird just because I also want to say some of these I want to see the team more so than I want to see the actual stadium itself. Some of it it's all of it. So without further ado, let's just jump into it with the Tennessee Titans, who, listen, I'll start off by saying this. I'd go to any of these teams' stadiums. I'd go to any of these teams' games. I'd have a good time, I think, at any of them. But so it goes without saying, if there's a D tier team here, that still would be a great time, I think. So don't take it personally. And it's just my opinion. For the Titans, I don't need to see the Titans play live. I think before I die, like that's something I can deal with. It seems like I do think this stadium seems like a pretty nice layout, but it's just it's a C tier. I don't feel particularly strong one way or the other about it. For the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are interesting. I think I'm going to put them above C tier, largely due to the fact that, I'm from Florida, so I should probably see a Dolphins game. I actually don't live that far away from Miami. I could do it in a day if I wanted to. Maybe I will, now that I think about it. What I put them above C, though, is due to the fact that I kind of want to see that stadium. I would love to go to a day game in Miami just because of the uniqueness of how that home field advantage works, and I kind of want to see that live. So that's going to be a B tier. For the Jets, I think Jets are A tier. I think that, again, and I'll put them and the Giants both in the same tier, as it's both the same stadium. Bit of an icon, it's not totally iconic because they have, changed the stadium, but it still is to me a bit iconic just seeing those teams play live. I think that would be very fascinating. I have seen the Giants play live, just not in New York, so I think that would be very fun. I'm going to put that in A tier. Then for the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, what would be cool about seeing the Bengals play live, I think, one of the real things about it would be just seeing the team they currently have assembled play live. But again, as a whole, they're not one that I'm like, I have to see a game in Cincinnati before I die or anything, so I'll go see. I actually weirdly have seen a practice of the Bengals, a preseason practice live. That was something my grandparents took me to one year when I was relatively in that area when I was 14 or so. So, okay, I've seen a little bit of it, I suppose. The Cleveland Browns are another fascinating one because, again, there's a lot of history with the Cleveland Browns. Not all good history. There is a lot of history with them, and they do have a very passionate fan base, so I'm going to put them in B tier. The Jaguars. First off, I want to see the swimming pool. I know I won't probably go into swimming pool or be near the swimming pool, but I want to just see it. I want to be able to look up and be able to see that live. I think that would be fun. I think underrated, really rowdy crowd Jacksonville has. Feels like they have a really good atmosphere there, so that's one I want to see before I die. I'll put that in A. All right, so the next two on this list are two teams that are, I would say, pretty, you could argue pretty similar in that they definitely have a ton of history. Unfortunately, not the best history in the Super Bowl era at the very least, but I think two stadiums that appear to be awesome on television. Definitely gets very loud there, the Vikings and Lions. I'm going to put them both in S tier. I got to see those stadiums. That seems like they should both be a really good time. The Lions and how passionate that fan base is, especially like if the Lions made the playoffs, seeing a playoff game there. And in Minnesota, I mean, that I've never seen a stadium get as loud as the Minneapolis Miracle got. That's one I want to see. The Buccaneers, it's obviously where I grew up watching games. I think if I was not a Buccaneers fan and I hadn't gone to any games, I think I'd still put it in B tier just because of the pirate ship. That's cool. You got to see the pirate ship live. Other than that, not like crazy, not a ton of history or anything. It does get very hot. If you're going to see a Buccaneers game, try to see a night game if you can. But as it stands right now, there might be too many night games in a post-Tom Brady era. But that being said, I enjoy it. I have a great time with it. The 49ers, I don't know what it is. I just feel like I watch the 49ers stadium, and it just seems like, I know it's not, it's not what the stadium they used to play in, so the history isn't necessarily there in the building, but it still just feels like, I don't know, it feels like football. You go there, again, not a stadium I've ever been to personally, but it just feels right. I'm going to put it in A tier, because part of it is just the history of the 49ers. Saying you've been to a 49ers game, I think would be cool. Falcons, I think that stadium looks awesome. I'm going to put that in S tier, just because I want to go, again, some of these are going to be about the team. Some of these are going to be about the stadium itself. I think that looks great. I want to see the Chick-fil-A's in there that are closed on Sundays. That's something I got to check out. I mean, it just as a whole, one I want to experience. The Ravens here. Again. I think that there's some cool stuff. Like the lighting stuff seems interesting. I like the Ravens. I'll put it in B tier. It's not necessarily something that is gonna wow you, but I think there's some nice things there. And again, just a good solid stadium with seemingly a good atmosphere. What's to complain about? Soldier Field. Maybe I'm gonna have a lot of S tiers on here, but I want to see Soldier Field in person. I don't know. It feels like, how is this still a stadium? I know they're going to, isn't there talk of getting a new stadium? I can't remember if that was confirmed or not, but Soldier Field, got to see his game in Soldier Field. That seems like that would be awesome. So S tier for me. And I just looked it up. Yeah, there is going to be a new stadium, but there's no official timeline on when that's going to happen in Chicago. So anyway, the Cowboys, that's got to be an S tier for me. Again, that's an iconic stadium already. I mean, going to a game in Jerry World, the uniqueness of it, the flashiness of it totally fits the Cowboys. Yeah, that's one that I got to see in person. For the Texans, I don't know. It seems fine, but it's another C1 for me. It's not an objectively bad stadium. It's not one I don't want to go to or anything, but I'm not sure if it's anything, there's anything crazy about it either. The Colts, I think the Colts stadium could be a lot of fun to go to. I think I might actually put this in A tier because again, it's kind of a personal thing for me, but I feel like I've watched a lot of Colts games on TV where, in the Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady era, and just sort of, it feels like it has this iconic nature to me, and because of that, it'd be great to see it live in person. The Rams, again, Rams and Chargers, they're going to be together here, and you could definitely argue S tier in a similar way for the Cowboys. I think it doesn't quite have, I don't know why, but it doesn't quite have that feel that the Cowboys one does to me, but I still would really like to see it. I'm still going to put it in A tier, and I think the Raiders, I'm actually going to follow through as well. You could argue S tier, but it definitely feels like one of those that I do want to really see, before I die. That seems like it could be a lot of fun, but trying to save the S tiers if I can. Washington probably gonna be the 1D tier. That doesn't look like a good stadium whatsoever. I have family in the DC area. I go there pretty regularly. Still never seen a game. Probably never will. Just not something I'm that interested in. I don't know. I'm sure it's still fun to go to a game. Listen, there's no such thing as a bad football stadium, right? If they're playing live football, I'm interested. Live NFL football, yeah, sign me up. But it's not necessarily one I'm rushing out to go see. You could argue the history of the team is cool, but they don't have the same team name now, which I'm not upset about, but I'm just saying, it's different. So, yeah, that's D tier. Arrowhead, A tier. I don't know. The way that the crowd does get very loud in there, it's a sort of a meme, but it's true. The crowd gets incredibly loud. The fan base is, I think, a real underrated fan base. I think the bandwagoners give them a bad name. I think they have a great fan base. No one complained about Chiefs fans before they won a championship. Before then, everyone was saying Chiefs were, awesome fan base. And obviously, before they won a championship with Mahomes, I'm not talking, before they won their first championship in the fifth season of the NFL. So yeah, they're S tier for sure. Next up, the Superdome. And listen, I'm a Tampa Bay fan, so maybe I wouldn't quite have the enjoyment in a Saints game than maybe a neutral fan would be, but I'm still putting them in S tier. How can you not love that stadium? Even if you hate the team, you love that stadium. That's an awesome stadium. That's one of the best stadiums of all time. How loud it gets. Again, we all remember when that field goal went through to send the Saints to the Super Bowl. I wasn't as big of a fan of it as I'm sure some of you were, again, being a Tampa Bay fan, but still, that's an obvious S tier for me. We didn't have the Eagles, so I think it'd be great. I've always kind of wanted to see just a game in Philadelphia. I haven't seen in any sport a game in Philly. You hear about the fans and the rowdiness of it. I want to experience that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the Eagles. I don't know if an Eagles game would be better than a Flyers game or a Phillies game or whatever, or a Sixers game. But I still think it's something I really want to see. So I'm gonna put that in A tier. And then for the Steelers, again, you got the history of the team, which I'm always fascinated in. I think it'd be really very cool. I'm gonna put this in A tier as well. And I think the Broncos, I'm going to continue to follow suit, put them in A tier. A lot of A tiers on this list. Again, a lot of these teams, I'm like, yeah, I really would like to see a game there. If I was in Denver and there was a football game being played, I definitely want to go check it out. Lambeau, that's that easy S tier. I mean, that's obvious. S tier has to be there. Can't even really argue with it. I mean, again, it's the history. It's one of the most iconic stadiums of all time. Yeah, S tier. Panthers. Again, kind of the C tier. It seems like actually seems like a really relaxing stadium. I really like the outlook and everything. A great way to watch the game. But it's not like it's one that, again, if I could get tickets to any game and fly anywhere, that's not necessarily the one I'd be rushing out to go to. But if I was in Carolina and I went to go see a game, I'd probably have a great time there. Cardinals is cool. I think it aesthetically looks cool. I just kind of like the look of it. So I'll put it in B tier. Again, nothing crazy, but it's fascinating. The Bills, this is largely due to the fan base, but that's another S tier for me. I just think that, that's something that the Bills Mafia, how do you not want to sit in a stadium and see, and be with Bills Mafia? Even if you hate the Bills, it's another one of those, like, you probably want to be there. That seems like a cool thing to do. Seahawks, I think, again, remember it was a meme of like how loud they were and all that stuff. And I think the stadium, people would say, oh, well, a stadium makes it seem louder. Well, that seems like a cool atmosphere still. I want to see it. That's S tier for me. And the Patriots, again, it's the history. It's the recent history. Seeing a game in Foxborough, that's S tier. So I think what we've learned here is that there's a lot of stadiums I want to go to. A lot of things that I think would be a very good time. I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 11 S tiers and 11 A tiers, and then I have just 10 that are B or lower, only 1 D tier, 4 C tiers, and 5 B tiers. It almost makes the teams in B and C tier seem not that great, but I'd love to go see those stadiums too. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff. Even Washington, I'd check it out. I'd probably have a good time if I went. So I don't know. At the end of the day, seeing live football in the NFL is fun, or even in college, probably even high school too. I never saw a high school game live, interestingly enough, but that's besides the point. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.